Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me today on Sigma Sunday. So let's talk about how do you, as a business owner or as a leader, how do you measure personal productivity? Not just like ticking off a list and doing all the things. Like, how do you know that you've been productive? My name is Rebecca Sonnenberg. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. And today, let's talk about productivity. I know sometimes that it's hard because we solely focus on the million tasks that we probably have to do every single day. But I think one of the things that we forget to ask is, did the tasks that I did today, that I checked off my list, did those move me closer to my goals? And even, did I learn something new or even solve a problem? I think it's really, really frustrating sometimes to get at the end of the day and you're like, I have no idea what I did. I have no idea if I did anything well. And really, was it worth it? And I think those kind of thoughts, those kind of habits can just wear you down, make you feel like, ugh, what am I even doing? Productivity isn't just about progress. It's not just busy work. It's really like, is this moving the marker? Is this getting me more to where I want to be? I think the thing that's hard too is that sometimes we have to put into perspective the way that we manage our time and the learning curve that comes with that, because who taught us that? Like, where in school did we ever learn how to better manage our time, right? We learned how to really take tests very well, hopefully. But even for some of us, that didn't work out so well. For me, productivity, it's so funny because I really put a lot of emphasis on how much it makes me feel good about myself, which isn't always great either, right? And I have to be mindful and I have to be careful that when I make my list, when I have my list of to-do, if I don't get all of it done by the end of the day, that doesn't mean I'm a piece of crap. That doesn't mean that I didn't show up and try. I think that's where like the learning curve for me is how do I give myself some grace? So some tips and some ideas for maybe you to look at and try is, are you multitasking? This is a big one, and I hear you. I am a huge multitasker. Some of us are really great at it. I think I'm really great at it. Maybe watching me from the outside, you'd be like, wow, that looks like pure chaos and nobody should do that. But I think realistically, when you look at the majority of the way those of us work and how our brains work, it really is better to do one task at a time, because you're really putting a lot of your emphasis and a lot of your brain power and everything you want into that moment, instead of giving 5% to this, 5% to that, maybe 2% to this. And especially when that comes to our people and our staff, can you imagine what it would feel like if your boss is only giving you 5%? That doesn't feel super great. So I think one of the things that helps with multitasking is slowing down, taking a beat and just saying, I'm only going to work on this. And if you have to, it's okay to set a timer and say, I can only work on this for 10 minutes. And then I really do have to move on to something else. For those of you who are neurodivergent, this is going to be really important because getting hyper-focused can be a really big distraction. So having those timers and having that time block to know, I'm going to work from here to here and that's it. And then I have to stop. Sometimes even having an accountability partner when we're super neurodivergent helps too. So this is somebody who can come in and say, hey, you've been working on that for 20 minutes. You said 10. Let's step away and take a break. The other thing that I find really helpful is a to-do list. I know this is super old school and for some people this isn't going to work. But I think having things written down, A, so you don't forget, and B, again, to keep you on track is really, really beneficial. The thing about a to-do list that I would highly recommend is you give yourself some grace that sometimes that list isn't going to get done. And sometimes that list is going to carry over into the next day. And that's okay. When you make that list, it's important to look and say, is it the most important thing that I do today is stop by the store and buy toilet paper for work? Or is the most important thing that I get, bills sent out, or I pay the rent for our building, or whatever that is? Depending on, how much toilet paper you have depends on where that's going to land on the list, right? But like we've talked about in previous episodes, this is also where you start to delegate. Because if you can have somebody, or even Walmart, ship you toilet paper, does that take it off of your list, right? And make it so much freaking easier. So the to-do list, I think, is super helpful, more because it just helps me to not forget when people are walking into my office and saying, hey, can we talk about blah, blah, blah? And in that moment, I'm like, we can't right now, but we will later. If I don't write it down, I'm 100% sure I will forget and I won't get to it and people will feel like I wasn't paying attention. So when you are looking at your productivity, I'm asking you to do it with some kindness and some grace. Take into account some of the other videos that we've talked about, or maybe go back and watch them and ask yourself, is my productivity based on my perfectionism, my inability to delegate? Is it that I feel like I don't matter if I don't get 9,000 things done? Because at the end of the day, if you're getting home and you're exhausted and you're tired and you feel like nothing productive happened, then something is off, right? Something isn't measuring, something isn't adding up. Something is saying you need to delegate more, or you need to be kinder to yourself, or maybe some of the things that you have on your list are not going to be obtainable for quite a while down the road, and that's okay too. So that's why I was saying, like, if you can take stock of what really, really matters in that moment, that's the most important, that's where I would put the majority of your focus. The last thing that I'll share with you on productivity is that you have to remember, and I always stress this, is that what you're asking your staff to do as a leader, as a business owner, whoever that is, they're watching you. And so if you're showing that being productive and only doing X, Y, and Z is how you matter and how you show up to work every day, where there's so much more complexity to that. There's more complexity to them and to you. So I always ask us to take a step back and recognize too, as business owners and as leaders, where are we showing up that what we're doing and the pressure we may be putting on ourselves is reflecting back onto the people who are watching us, who are gauging how well they're doing and how safe they are. So take a second, look at that, look at your list, make sure you're not multitasking, even though you may think you're amazing at it. And I'll be the first one to say I probably should take a look at this as well, and maybe help yourself find an accountability partner. So if you liked this video, please like it, share it, and remember, these videos are just here to help you hopefully be a better leader, a better business owner, and a better human at the end of the day. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you next week.